Well, good morning, everyone, again. And I am truly delighted to be with you today, as I am and shared before, but especially to speak about a topic that I'm very connected to and passionate about gratitude. You know, we've all heard that age old question. You know, the one people love to toss around as a litmus test to what our attitude is. Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? We know what they're getting at. Are you an optimist or a pessimist? A few years ago, I heard a different answer, and it's really stayed with me since. I was in the Nature Center in Closter. Now, my family, my cousin Carol, and her daughter Olivia, they're my heart. And they had always talked to me about this guy named Nature Mark, who they referred to affectionately. Nature Mark ran that nature center in Closter. He lives there with his family and children, and he spends his life, his work, is teaching children to love nature and life in a way. And so the question came up, and Nature Mark came up with a simple answer, and it was, I'm just glad I have a glass. And I thought, wow, that's a completely different take. It reframed the whole conversation. We live in a culture that thrives on a perception of lack. If you're not rich enough, thin enough, young enough, successful enough, educated enough, if something is missing, you are just not enough for many. Even, advertising, social media, even casual conversations hinge on what's missing in our life and how we should fix it. It's the basis of consumerism and advertising. It's always that thing you're missing, that thing that will complete you. This mindset isn't just about lack. This mindset of lack isn't just exhausting, it's damaging. It becomes a lens through which we see our lives, and it can poison us. It poisons our perception. It poisons and takes away our joy. It makes us focus on what's absent, what is missing, rather than what we have right now. That's why glad I have a glass is such an awakening and healing phrase. It stops the question before it begins. It shifts the frame from what is in the glass to the gift of having a glass at all, or maybe having a life, or having a moment, or having a breath, or a body. How we perceive our lives shapes how we live them. Do you wake up thinking, wow, I get to have another day? Or do you say, oh, my knee hurts, my head hurts, my hip hurts, my this hurts, this is missing. I'm getting older, I didn't get enough sleep, I wish they didn't say that to me yesterday, I wish I didn't say that to them yesterday, my to-do list is just never ending. Life is difficult. You know that line. It's the first line from The Road Less Traveled. That groundbreaking book to how to live life by M. Scott Peck, I think, in the 1980s and 90s. I'm not suggesting that we ignore our problems. I don't believe in spiritual bypass. I don't think it's wise to make believe something isn't painful when it is. But I don't think it does us any good to take up residence in our problems when our problems become the path of our perception, when we reside in our struggle. Gratitude does not require perfection. It just requires presence. It's not about denying the hard parts of life, but holding those parts alongside the awareness of what is good and what we're gifted to have. This brings me to a story I recently read. A blind boy sat on the steps of a building with a cup in front of him, with a sign that read, I am blind, please help. There wasn't much coins in his little cup. A few were in there from passers-by. Then a man walked up to him, reached in his pocket, put a few more coins in the boy's cup, and he took the boy's sign, turned it around, and he wrote something on it. He handed it back to the boy, turned around, and walked away. Made sure the sign was facing forward, what he had written. He didn't say anything. Soon the boy started to hear ding, 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 ting, ting, ting. The coins started just filling his cup, which happened to move in that direction for the rest of the day. It was very abundant. And that afternoon, the boy recognized that man's footsteps as he started to approach him again. And the boy spoke out. He said, you're the one who changed my sign. He said, what did you write? And the man said, I only wrote the truth, but I wrote it differently. And what he had written was, today is a beautiful day, but I cannot see it. Today is a beautiful day, but I cannot see it. Both signs were true. One stated a fact and a request. The other revealed a perspective that invited people to awaken to what most of us take for granted, the ability to see. This parable or story reminds us of the way we frame our lives matters, really matters. It's not about changing facts, it's about shifting our lens. When we shift our lens towards gratitude, we not only feel how we feel, but we change how others respond to us, how we show up in the world, and what we invite in return. Even when life is hard, and let's be honest, like I said before, it could be very hard. I'm sure everybody in this room could speak deeply about the struggles in their life now or previously, or maybe even to come. No matter what our life situation is, we always have the power to frame our perspective. It's not saying we're pretending that everything is fine. It's about honoring the full picture, the struggle, the light, and the light, because life isn't just about what we lack, it's about what we choose to see. And before I go into the next part, I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed Debbie Peary's service last week, and what a beautiful connection I felt, and inspiration, and I brought it and part of our conversation into this service. I want you to know that, so thank you. So I'd like to share with you all a little bit about how gratitude became important in my life. And I truly hope that a profound difficulty isn't the catalyst for you, for that awakening. I hope it's not the doorway, but unfortunately it often is for most people. And it certainly was for me. So as many of you know, I've shared this before, but some of you might not know me as well. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and my diagnosis came when I was 51. It's a club I didn't plan on joining. Unfortunately, we have a lot of members in this room and online, but it was the one I was inducted in. I found a palpable lump, so pronounced I could feel it outside my body, and I had just had a mammogram only 8 months ago. So it was a real shock, and it was also so frightening that I had a mammogram, and how now I have something that is that advanced, I felt. And from the moment of discovering the tumor to the point when we found out how serious it was a couple of weeks, but it felt like a couple of years. And unfortunately, I know many of us know this story. we knew it was invasive. How invasive was it? Had it spread? I didn't know if my life was going to be abbreviated. I was shaken awake suddenly by the fragility of life. And it wasn't so abstract. It was real and in front of me. And of course, the results came that it was at an early manageable state. And there was a treatment path mapped out. I had a chance. I had an opportunity, and I had a really overwhelming experience of gratitude. The moment marked a shift in me. I wanted to keep that gratitude alive because my life prior to having cancer was painfully difficult. And I was not, well, let's just say, all I saw in my life those years, maybe the 10 years before then, were the problems and the struggles. That's all I was residing in. I could only see what wasn't right rather than what was. I was residing in the pain of life. It was all I saw. And some of those problems were problems I might have been able to do something about, but I didn't. And those problems didn't disappear the moment I had my diagnosis, but I changed. And I decided, because I wanted to keep that gratitude, I wanted to keep that awake in me, I decided I'd start a practice. So every morning, and I started while driving to work, I would speak out loud to the universe, to God, to Spirit, whomever might listen, my parents, whoever's on the other side, or maybe just to myself. How lucky I was, or what I had to be grateful for, that I was alive, that I had a body, that I had a family that loved me, I had friends, I had people that supported me. I could see cherry blossoms in the trees, and I remembered how lucky I was, and I did it every day. And that summer, regardless of the radiation, the surgeries, the complications, the medications, all of it, it was the happiest summer I had had in at least a decade. And I know that may sound crazy, but the shift in me changed my entire experience. I was able to experience joy. Thank you, Debbie, with the joy. Amidst all of it. Now, 17 years later, gratitude is still with me, and it has shaped how I live and how I walk the earth. It's become a practice. It's become a way of being for me. A practice is something you do repeatedly in order to learn or become proficient at. A practice is something you do repeatedly, I'm repeating myself, in order to learn or become proficient at, whether it's going to the gym, playing guitar, meditation, art, dance, music, writing, getting over dyslexia, whatever it is we practice at, it becomes part of us. It becomes part of your life. It becomes part of your nature, right? Do you have a gratitude practice? Does anybody bring that into their life? Yeah. And if not, what might one feel like for you? What might you want to include in a gratitude practice? Could it be journaling a few things every day? Could it be consciously saying upon awakening every morning, thank you for a day, for body, for breath? Or could it be like me, just speaking out loud as you're driving the car or walking or making your coffee, but intentionally? Yeah. Over time, gratitude practices shift your internal story. You stop scanning the world for what is wrong and you start noticing what is right. Why do I love the phrase, glad I have a glass? Because it's a wake-up call. The glass itself becomes the miracle. The vessel is your life. When you see the glass as a gift, we become aware that without it, there would be no contents. There would be nothing. The glass is everything. And a key word I'd like to bring on top of that is something I didn't mention before. It's the word awareness. Gratitude brings awareness into our lives. And what we're aware of, we focus of. And when we're aware of something, we have a choice. If we're not aware of having a choice, we can't make it. It gives us the power to shift our lens and our lives. As we close our time together, I'd like to invite you to consider how gratitude might become more than just a passing feeling, but part of your spiritual practice. Not something reserved for when life is going well, but a steady companion through all of it. The joy, the sorrow, the ordinary, the extraordinary. Each day we have a chance to notice what's good, to say thank you, to be present to the gifts we already hold. Because in the end, it's not how full the glass is that matters, but that we're here to hold it and to give thanks for it. May your glass runneth over. Amen. May it be so. Thank you, everyone. If you like this video, please like us on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Thank you.